Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. These days, you may know I do a lot of content involving daily challenge and moving duels. But when I first started out, I actually did a lot of speedrunning, specifically on this map right here, Intersection Guest Ontario. Recently, I decided to come back to it after not playing for a while and go for a record I never really tried back then. 100k moving, 425ks in a row with no resets. I set my goal as a sub 20-minute time, and I really had a lot of fun going for it. Unlike 25K, which is just a test to see how lucky of a seed you can get, especially past the 2-minute barrier, going for the 100K is a true test of consistency, being able to manage every round that comes your way. This is the first round I got below the 20-minute threshold, and I thought, why not explain my thought process? And that's exactly what I'm going to do in this video. The raw, uncommented proof recording will be in the description down below, but in this video, I'm going to go through the seeds round by round, explaining what I saw, what was going through my head, and what metas you should know. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. So, starting off with round number one here, I have some issues with panning, as you can see. Like, I'm clicking the whole time, but yeah. So, I noticed that the sign, it had no word for street on it in Gen 3, and then when I clicked into the Gen 4 for a second, and the game kicked me back for whatever reason, I don't know why it did that, but when I was in the Gen 4, it was bilingual. And both of those sign designs, that I'll have on screen here, they're very good for getting Sudbury. So I know already this is Sudbury. So now it's just a matter of getting to an intersection. Sudbury's really nice because they have numbered roads and they show up on the map. And you should get them on signs like this. And yeah, we get Municipal Road 66. So that should be very easily findable. And yep, there it is. And now I just need to find the street names, which I'm not the best at. I'm very bad at scanning, as you'll see throughout this video. But yeah, there it is. And we can move on to round number two. Okay, now here, instantly, first hint, I see white sign here with blue text. That is very good for Tillsonburg. It's a nice little town. I've walked through it before. And one thing you always notice is white signs with blue text. You never see these anywhere else in Ontario, to my knowledge. So it's a great hint to have. And I don't see it often, so it's very cool to see. So now I know I'm in Tillsonburg. I have the intersection, and it's going to take me a while to find this, even though this is an IRL repeat. Like, where I've moved to is an IRL repeat. So, I mean, I'm of course going to have issues because I just have issues finding everything, even if I've been there. But yeah. And eventually I notice it, and I go back to spawn just to see, like, the shape of the intersection and everything and figure out that I'm at Ball Alley. Round number 3. I don't recognize this sign, which is very bad. And also, I end up going the wrong way. If I turn right here, I would have gotten to much better info. Instead, I went left, and I'm just on the moon. There was also a blue bus stop, which is a very good hint for this city, and I'll explain it once I know what city I'm in the video. Um, and there was a sign, and that's when I realized this is London. That is the London font. There are a couple of different London sign designs. That is the most prevalent one in newer coverage because they've just been replacing all their signs with that font, which is very nice. But I don't recognize the street names. And Evans Boulevard, I should recognize Evans Boulevard. It's bad that I don't, but I keep moving anyway. And eventually I see that says Bradley Avenue, which of course, I know what Bradley is. And I figure we have to be very far east given the landscape. And yeah, eventually I do find the neighborhood. And I just scan for the street names. And I'm scanning way too close to Bradley here because as it turns out, if I had gone right earlier, I would have immediately hit Commissioner's Road, which is very funny. But yeah, I just always find a way to go the wrong way. So I'm scanning way too far from Commissioner's here. Eventually, I see North Leaksdale, and yeah, that's round number 3 in the books. Round number 4 now. I make a mental note of where I started because the last round that went very horribly. So now I just have the street names in my head. I see something on the school, so I decide to go into the parking lot. Um, but as it turns out, that just puts me in Gen 2, which, as a general rule of thumb, if you can avoid being in Gen 2, please do. So I need to figure out another way to get the place name. And I'm just gonna be moving around relatively aimlessly. All these suburban rounds, I'm really bad at these. Like, there's just like such a maze, and it's hard to work through sometimes, as you saw with the London round. Eventually, I do get to a major intersection here, Town Line and Dawson, and I don't recognize these street names, so I need to find the town name. And there it is, Orangeville. Shout out Geotane if you're watching. So yeah, I zoom in on Orangeville here. I do know where to find that. And I just need to find the street names. And there's Town Line, I see that. And then I notice Dawson. And yeah, now it's just a matter of getting to the streets. And I realize there's two intersections, so I actually have to check which way the road curves at spawn. So I know I have the right one, and I'm not getting like a 4998. Round 5. I am able to read the Blue Mountains here. It's that's something like the video I recorded in 720. I am playing at 1080, so sometimes I'll read things that might be harder to read in the video, just to explain that. So I do find 10th line in the Blue Mountains instantly, and there's John Street, and bang, 404 to get through the first seed. Round number 6, we have Exposed Striped, which is usually an Ottawa thing, which has me very scared because I am not good at Ottawa. I will explain that later. It is awful. There is an Ottawa round, so I'll explain that when we get to it. But the water tower does say Carleton Place, so I'm spared, but I kind of realize I don't know what the name of the road I'm on is. Like, because there's two yellow roads, as you can see, so I just need to figure out which one I'm on first. And that is just a matter of getting to another intersection, which hopefully does not take too long. But knowing me, it always does take a little too long. Eventually, I do get to one, and yeah, I just need to see the green sign here that says McNeely, which is the one on the right there. And there's the intersection, bang. Going in around number 7, Darcy and Christie. Okay, so that sign there, this here, I'll put an image on screen. That is the Renfrew County font. It's all across the county. It's like super tall. It's very recognizable once you've seen it IRL. And yeah, so first of all, I know it's not the town of Renfrew because in the town of Renfrew, the signs are like that, but blue. And in the rest of the county, they're green. But I don't want to scan every other town in Renfrew County, so I'm just gonna play it cool and try to find the town name somewhere else. So I go to this set of lights here, and I see it's called Pembroke Street West. And I realize, okay, this is probably just Pembroke. Like, and yeah, there's Pembroke Street West, and I started at Darcy and Christine. Round number 8 now. It's Toronto time. Toronto is like a complete minefield because you have to find the major intersection, and then when you get to that, you have to hope you know where the town, like, hope you know where the road names are, and like, yeah, if you don't know them, you're gonna have fun scanning. So, it's a fun time. I do get to Willowdale and Cummer. I do remember from a scrapped run earlier that Willowdale shows up as a neighborhood label, so I do get there. But first, I have to find Willowdale Ave, which does take me a little bit. And there it is. So now I look for Cummer, and at first, once I find Cummer, I look south of it, not realizing that I went south to get to Cummer, and I'm kind of being a stupid idiot again. But eventually, I do find it, and there's Tobruk Crescent where I started. I double check that street name, Everingham Court, and yeah, there's the 5K. Round number 8 now, and no, it's round number 9. Round number 9, we have Ottawa, the dreaded Ottawa street signs. Now, Ottawa signs are a great meta. If you want to know one street sign in Ontario, please know the Ottawa ones, okay? The problem with Ottawa is that all of the roads, like all the major roads, have numbers. They do have municipal numbered roads. But the problem is they always end up covering the street name on the map, so you have to zoom in obscenely far to get the street name sometimes. And B, they never show up in the game. Like, because Ottawa has a policy of not putting the municipal road numbers on any roads inside the green belt, which means that a lot of the time there are numbers on the map that are completely useless to you, and road names in the game that you cannot find on the map. So I definitely dread Ottawa rounds, although I recognize Maryvale Road for whatever reason. So I'm just gonna get to a major intersection. I'm gonna get to lights, and I get to Slack and Maryvale. And I'm like, Slack's probably nothing. I'm gonna go to something bigger, hopefully, and maybe find something to line myself up with. I find Enterprise, that's not really useful to me, but I'm like, okay, I can probably just find Maryvale. Takes me a little bit, but there it is. And yeah, as you can see, Maryvale is a numbered road. It is Municipal Road 17. Um, but doesn't show up in the game because Ottawa is funny like that. So I just need to find the intersection, and there it is, Miriam Ave. Moving on to round number 10. This is a halfway point. Immediately, I see this sign. Um, Let me back it up a little here, because this sign, bang, it kind of looks like a Hamilton sign, but like this word street is like on the bottom instead of on the top. Um, and the font is like a little more disheveled than Hamilton's, if that makes sense. I know it doesn't make sense to anyone except for me, but I do recognize that that is a Thunder Bay sign. So I'm immediately gonna scan Thunder Bay. And luckily, we have an east-west grid, and we have like directions on the signs, like south and west. So I immediately am able to scan and get the 5K. And that's seed number 2 done. We're on a banger pace right now. But seed number 3 is the roughest of the bunch. So we're going to move into round number 11 here. River and Dolphin. This round is awful. Like, everything goes wrong in this round. This is definitely the low light of the whole thing. So first up, I'm moving around this city completely aimlessly. I'm trying to find a major intersection, and I just end up crossing a bunch of railroads. Um, Things do not go well. I do eventually get to the main road, but okay. So now I need to get to lights, and I get to lights. And what is this sign design? I have never seen this before in my life. Um, and that's a skill issue because I should totally know what this is. And I will reveal what it is when I find out what city it is. But yeah, I guess it's probably useful, but again, it's just not something I know because it doesn't come up a lot in my games. I passed that animal hospital and I realized it says Parry Sound, and I just completely didn't know it. So now I'm just gonna spend a bunch of time scanning for the intersection, which is going to be fun because all I had was like River Street and like I guess since it's River Street, it's gonna be near the river, but I also had a bunch of random railways that I crossed, but there's River and Dufferin, so I find it, and we move on to round number 12. Elko and Collier. I recognize that sign with like the long arrows. That sign with the long arrows there is very Niagara to me, and with the east-west grid, that would also fit for Niagara. So that's the good news. The bad news is figuring out where it is because it is a little bit difficult. I do see green property markers. Actually, I did research into the property marker colors, specifically in Niagara, because there are like 4 different designs of property markers in Niagara, and knowing which one is where can really help you narrow it down. I'll put a graphic on screen. It's certainly something. It is certainly some information you can use. So I'm going the other way now, and I'm just hoping to get to a main road. And eventually, I do get to not just any road, but a numbered road here. It takes a little bit to see it, but Regional Road 27, and it's at a diagonal, which is weird. So that does help me scan. I do find 27, but it takes me so aggravatingly long to find the intersection. Like, it just takes so long. And there's Call You, it's on my screen, and I'm just not finding it. Like, because I am such a brick when it comes to scanning for things, I swear. Every time I watch back, I rage bait myself. If you ever think I'm playing up how much I say I rage bait you guys when I'm playing the daily challenge, trust me, no, I'm rage baiting myself. But there I see the intersection, and we can move on to round number 13. So we have A.V. Nolan and Gar Lehman. I have no clue what this is, and it's complete suburban slop. So it's gonna be a fun time. And I can't even go that way, so I'm just going around in every which direction, hoping to find some kind of outlet to any sort of major road, which is a lot easier said than done in rounds like these. Um, This map just has so much suburban, like, slop. And there, I hit a dead end and clipped onto another road, and then I clip onto another road here, and then I go back to where I was before, and the movement in this round is just so confusing. I can't even piece together all the places I went in this game. Round 13 was just completely cursed. I'm just gonna say that. Is certainly an unlucky number. There's some bus stops that I don't even know all the bus stop metas. Like, there are certainly useful bus stops. But apart from the London one, I don't really know a lot of them. Hoover Park and Reeves Way. That overhead sign is a York overhead sign, like York region. So I'm zooming in on Richmond Hill for a little bit. Not that I know it's Richmond Hill, but I just think, oh, that's a possible place it can be. And then I keep having to move down this road, hoping to find different lights, maybe find a longer road that maybe I've heard of, because I've certainly never heard of these roads that I'm on right now. Um, Eventually I do get to ninth line, and it takes so long to remember what ninth line is. Spoiler alert, I am scanning in completely the wrong area. I am on the moon right now. So it's gonna take a little bit for me to find ninth line. See, all these roads, they come out of Toronto, so they have their Toronto names. Ninth line is not a Toronto name, so it has to be like so far east that it hits the town line before it gets to Toronto, if that makes sense, because it's like on a skewed angle. Um, but eventually I do find it. And I've moved all the way to Whitchurch-Stouffville. um, so yeah. Now I have to scan all of this suburban crap to find the street name, which good luck to me on that. But I find Reeves Way, which is definitely one of the roads I was on, and there it is. Okay, round number 14, hopefully with less rage bait now. Um, so I start at Rupert and Bathurst, and I'm immediately thinking that's like Kitchener-Waterloo. That's gonna be a Kitchener-Waterloo sign, or like something in that area. But I'm not entirely sure which one it is, so I just need to get to a better spot. And here we have King Street North. Now, one weird tip for Kitchener-Waterloo. King Street is a funny road. In Waterloo, it is signed north and south, but as it crosses Waterloo into Kitchener, King Street South becomes King Street West, and in Kitchener, it's an east-west road. Even though it's still like visually more north-south, Kitchener's grid is very weird. So in Kitchener, it's east and west King Street, and in Waterloo, it's north and south King Street. So since it's King Street North, I know we're gonna be in Waterloo rather than Kitchener, and I can start scanning now. So that's why I zoom right in on Waterloo. And there's King North, and I need to find Northland. I have Northfield, but not Northland. So that takes a little bit longer, and there it is. And I go back to start, line things up, boot boot and Bathurst, and you'll see it on my map. There, and bang. Moving on to round number 15. This sign, I recognize that sign. It's Milton. When downtown Milton, it says. Now, my problem in this round was specifically not realizing that Bronte Street South, like the north-south change is not at Highway 7. It's a lot further north than I thought it was. I'm just scanning south of Highway 7 thinking, oh, that's where Bronte Street North becomes Bronte Street South. But no, it is way further north, and there's just an entire, like, mile or two of roads that can be the right intersection. But I do quickly find it once I realize my mistake, and we move on to round number 16. We are now on the final seed, the home stretch. And this first round is already completely awful, as I am in the middle of nowhere. First things first, obviously, find anything. And I realize there's a provincial park sign. Inverhuron Provincial Park. I've never heard of that. So I just keep moving. And I find Bruce Power, and that does say something else, though, right? Bruce Road 15 is what I see. Yeah, Bruce Road 15. So I can find the county road. It's on my map though. And yep, it was Inverhuron. So I just need to find the intersection. And the problem is there's no sign at this one. So I put my pin on Macpherson Road thinking it might be that. But it takes me a while to confirm it. I have to confirm it with the Off-Road South. And then that company there, Ken Jackson Construction. I have to like confirm with that. And Yeah, and I confirm with the address as well. I line up the address 3128, Booster 15. And yeah, I eventually do confirm the 5K, and we move on to round number 17. And we have Ritson Road North and Pearson Street. Immediately, I see that sign and I see the angle. Like, that sign is like in a couple of places. It's not like the most useful thing. But then I see this sign here. Um, I see this one here with the like the county road markers on the left there. That means this is going to be Durham region, specifically with that design. It shows up a lot in this map, so it's very good to know this. Very good. So I immediately zoom in on Oshawa, assuming the blue signs are common in Oshawa. And yeah, there's Ritson Road right there. And I just need to find the intersection I got to, which might take me a little bit, because I am, again, not good at scanning. There's Hillcroft, which I know I got to. And it takes me a little bit to confirm this. There's Pearson Street, and yeah, I assume I got to there, and yeah, that's the 5K. Round number 18. This one is just a quick one. It's a fun one, but it took me a while to confirm the 5K again. I get to hear, I'm not sure about the overhead sign design, but the road name is called Big Bay Point Road. If you stare at maps of Barrie for long enough, don't ask why I have, you'll immediately recognize Big Bay Point Road. It's just one of those names that could never exist anywhere else except for Barrie. So I just zoomed right in on Barrie. And I have to line this up with, like, the baseball diamond in the school, because it's, like, a weird pinpoint. Um, it's not a very traditional intersection per se. We do get the 5K. Round number 19. What the heck is that sign is my first thought. And I see the road is closed, and if I try to go to it, it's Gen 3. In general, I don't want to be in Gen 3 if I don't have to be, so I go north instead. And I see this. Halleck's Road South closed to Highway 401. I keep going north for a while until my brain clicks on something. If the road south of me is closed, and it says closed to Highway 401, what if I got onto the Gen 3 where the road is closed, and maybe I could clip onto the 401, which would be an amazing way to 5K. And yeah, I realize I can just get to the 401. And now I'm on the 401. I find a kilometer marker somewhere, and I can use the exit numbers on the 401 because the exit numbers are tied to the kilometer numbers, and I can use that to find the road. So kilometer 689 I need to find. So I just start scanning random exits, trying to find number 689. And it's gonna take me a little bit to do that. Scanning different numbers. That's like 658 or something. It's kind of hard to read in 720. Um, it's my bad. I do need to record these videos in lower quality than my computer like natively supports because obviously the lag concerns. But eventually, I find numbers that kind of match up. There's Halleck's Road. I was at the intersection of all the Halleck's roads, is north, south, east, and west. That's kind of a weird one. And we move on to round number 20. This is first up. This is absolutely the worst round you can possibly get on round 20 of a 100K run because this is not an actual intersection. This is technically not supposed to be in the map, but it is because of how it's generated. I need to explain how it's generated in order to explain this round. So, the way it works is it takes intersections through OpenStreetMap data, which sometimes is the same as Google Maps, but oftentimes there are a lot of things that are intersections on OpenStreetMap that are not on Google. This driveway is labeled as a road on OSM. It is not labeled as a road on Google, which is very, very bad in this round. Like, I am like sweating bullets right now because I realize I might not get this 5K. This might not be possible. I have lost like PB pace runs on what should be easy rounds to stuff like this. I see Birdie and Ridgemount. Okay, schizo meta time. I know this is Niagara region because of the east-west roads and the sign design. I know this is Niagara region. This is my schizo meta. There is no period on the end of street here. This is extremely schizo. Do not trust me on this 100%. But I know that no period here is very common in Fort Erie. That's just some context. So this is why I'm scanning in on Fort Erie immediately. doesn't make any sense to anyone on planet Earth except for me. No, but there's Ridgemount and Birdie. Now I have the trouble. I know I went east there, which means now I'm just stuck on Birdie Street trying to pinpoint house numbers. And I see the house number there. It's like 2649. I'm looking on the houses to see if the houses have numbers on them, but no, the numbers are actually on the road next to the houses, which is already bad. There's 2649, and I just have to click it and pray because I don't know if the intersection is going to be marked at where the number is. I just have to guess that it's there, and as you can see, it pays off in this case, but it doesn't necessarily have to pay off. I lost a run. It was just a 25K run on Elgin County because of an address that was 500 meters off where it was supposed to be. So rounds like this, I am praying. And on round number 20, this is not what I want to have. Got lucky here. Let's be honest. I got lucky that it worked out like this, and we get the final seed done, and I just take a moment. I grab my calculator. I have an overlay set up for this already. I grab my calculator and I do the math to figure out what my final time is. I add up all the minutes, 17 minutes, and then I add up all the seconds afterwards, which ends up as 87 seconds. 1787 is a final time of 18 minutes and 27 seconds. So I go into my overlay, type it in, bang. New world record, 1827. I would like to thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you learned a little something from each of the rounds. I know a lot of them were just me, like, struggling to scan for things or trying to find, like, the most basic of info because I didn't know, like, exactly how to get the lockup first. But, yeah. I hope you learned a little something from the decision making and a couple of the metas that I showed. And yeah, if you want to see more of this content, feel free to let me know. Leave a comment if you like the video, and of course, like and subscribe for more bad pinpointing content. And yeah, until next time, I will see you all. Goodbye.